exactly when it was, but somewhere along the line, all the toys I played with as a kid became antiques. Like this Spill and Spell game from the early 60s, might even be from the 50s. It's made by Phillips Publishers in Massachusetts. The object of this game is to make words from the face-up letters you tossed. The bigger the word, the bigger the points. Now this here has got to be one of my favorite toys of all time, the Whizzer. I can't tell you how many of these I had growing up. They used to come in all different colors. Now this one here actually was broken, the tip got all dry and hard, so I took a piece of rubber and an X-Acto knife with some sandpaper and I made a new one. Give you an example of how it would work. You would run it across the table. Here's an Erector set from the early 60s. This one here is in particularly good shape. It's got the instruction book and even a parts list. One of the things that I really never liked about these toys was the nuts and the bolts for these. They always used to come loose, so you always build something and it was rickety. But they were still a lot of fun. This one here has a motor, still works. Tinkertoys were created in 1914 after a stonemason saw children playing with sticks and empty spools of thread. They were manufactured in Evanston, Illinois. Tinkertoys came in a wide variety of sets. You could build anything your imagination dreamed. The most difficult part of a Tinkertoy was getting all the pieces back into the tube when you were finished playing with it. Now, what kid in the 1970s didn't collect beer cans? Looking back, it was rather strange to collect beer cans when we couldn't even drink the stuff. But it was always fun collecting and trading them. This one is the only one I have left from my collection. Here's an interesting game. Not a lot of bells and whistles, but it does have a few. Merlin. Here's an example of a tic-tac-toe game. You'd push one of the buttons and it would select about, I don't know, I think it had 9 different games on it. So you would actually make your move and then have to push computer turn to have the computer take its turn. By today's standards, not very impressive. Now here's a handheld baseball game that I bought in the 70s. Not very fancy. In fact, you pushed a button and a little blip of light would cross home plate, and then you would have to push a button to run the bases. Nonetheless, we had a lot of fun with it. Here's a comic book I bought in the 70s. I bought this Iron Man First Edition from 1968. I bought this at a comic book shop on Lawrence Avenue in Chicago for $7. Today, it's worth about $400 to $500. This was a bank that I had when I was a kid. Wait for it. always thought that was cool. I could play with this thing for a long time. I never really did collect a lot of money, but it was fun playing. Now here's a game that just about every kid had. Mattel Football. More popular than the baseball game. Again, this consisted of blips of light. You would push buttons and run across the field. Other kids really got into it. I was never that good at it. Now here's a little missile type cap gun toy. I used to play with this quite a bit too. You would tear off a paper cap and slip it in there and then crank it down, throw it in the air, which was really safe, and then it would hit the concrete and make a loud pop sound. Now the cap gun, who didn't have a cap gun? You actually put a roll of caps in these, which, by the way, I don't even know if you could find a roll of caps anymore. And then when you pull the trigger, they would feed through the chamber and bang one by one. Now, what kid didn't have a Monopoly set? Nowadays they have Monopoly for every occasion, every sports team, every city, but we only had one, and this was it. This game in particular is a very old one. I think it goes back from, probably to the 40s. Now the houses themselves were actually made out of wood and painted green, and then the hotels were also made out of wood and painted red. Couple of faded yellow dice. The cards were pretty much the same. The board is pretty much unchanged to this day. They did have a few more pieces than we have now. There's the hat, the thimble, there's a cannon, an iron, a boat, a race car, and a shoe. I hope this video brought back some good memories for you, to a simpler time, when all we had to worry about was what game we were going to play that day.